In this video, we're going to go over the different statuses in the patient chat portal of Vital Interaction. So you'll notice here under status that we have active, pending, closed, spam, and then down below we have our unread and read. So when you first come into the portal, you're going to have active and unread and read selected automatically. From here, you can decide which messages you want to deal with. Say you've already taken care of these ones for now and you just want to view the unread. You can unselect read, and now you are only looking at the unread messages. So now we can click into those messages and figure out what we need to do with. So these are just test messages, but let's say we needed to tell the patient something, and then we send it off. Now what happens when we send this off? What we see right here is that this will tell us where this message is going to go. So if I send this message right here, it's going to transfer over into the pending status. So this would be, say you have told the patient something and you're then waiting on a response from them, then you might do that. However, if you are sending a message to them and you still have something that you need to send them, then you might want to keep it in active when you send it. So let's see what happens when we send it in active. So we sent the message, and now we see that there are no unread messages in the active status. But when we go over to read, then we can see all the messages that still need to be dealt with on our end, but have been read. So now let's look at these messages. On this one, let's say that we have a message and now we need them to deal with something. And so it's no longer in our court, but the ticket's not quite closed. So we're going to leave this in pending and then send. So now that we've sent that, we see that it's no longer in the active status. Now when we go over to pending, we can see that that's where this message is. Now these messages might be things that still need to be dealt with, but are maybe in the patient's court instead of your court. So you want to keep them here so that you don't forget them. So let's say that there was something that we decided that needed to be done on our end first. How do we switch this from pending back to active? Well, we can easily look up here at the top and switch from pending over to active, and that instantly makes it go back over to the active status. So there are two ways to switch what status you're in. You can change it by sending a message and selecting what you want it to go to after the message, and you can go up here and change it manually from one of these. You'll also note that if it's something that's very important, you might want to select it as unread so that the next person who comes in, or when you come in next, know that it needs to be dealt with. However, you can only do that from the active status. You cannot do it from pending, closed, or spam. So let's see what happens when we have it under active, and then we select to have it be unread. So now you'll see that the bubble pops up again, and the message isn't here. So to see that message again, now it makes it to be read again. Now let's say that we've dealt with everything that we need to here, and we're going to close out everything that's happened. So from here, we can send our message, and we can select closed. Now when I send this message, it skips over the pending and goes straight to closed. And these are messages and people that you've figured out that you've closed the case and you don't need to communicate with anymore about what you're talking about. And these ones are the ones that you still need to deal with. Now the last status is spam. These are messages that come in that are not patients and not anything you need to deal with, and you can mark them as spam when they come in. Once you do this, then all of the messages coming from that number will always go to spam unless you unselect spam and change it to a different status. If you have any questions at any point about any of the statuses, please don't hesitate to reach out to the support team, and we'd be glad to help you and walk you through what you need to know.